Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Engine House. Trying a couple of new things today. Got some new microphone using the wife's tablet and the phone. Try to do something a little different here. Anyway, got a lot to do today. Shop Kitty is going to be a pain in the butt, as Shop Kitty usually is. I went ahead and finished this building without thinking. I put the roof on it, of course, and I did the concrete base here on the bottom, and I got it all finished and all weathered. As you can see, if Shop Kitty gets out of the way. And when I finished it all up and showed it to my wife, she said,
You didn't videotape it.
there you go. So today I'm doing it a little different. This is the base. There's a smokestack that goes on this building, okay? And this is the base to it. It goes right here. And of course, then there's a smokestack. So I'm going to do the concrete on this today. Also, if we have time, I framed in windows here. You can see. Got the window. I need to know where my fingers are. All this new stuff here. We're trying this out. Anyway, I did the framework on some of these big windows. Now I need to finish them off to make them look like this window here. This is going to be kind of a 2 or 3 day process, so there'll be other videos spliced into this. And then I talked about this in another video, an earlier one, and it's something I'm going to be getting to after I finish this, because I finally found some basswood sheets that I can use that will work just fine. Give me 1 second, and I will show you what I'm doing here. This is a very important piece. This is my next project. I've talked about this in an earlier video right here. This was handmade in Germany in 1946 or 47. And my aunt was in the Women's Army Corps as part of the occupation forces in Germany after the war. And she, through a few trading cigarettes, whatnot, which was, what they did, because German currency wasn't worth anything. And U.S. currency, of course, couldn't be used over there. So with a little black market trading of cigarettes and whatnot, my aunt shipped this home to my mother, who was 10 at the time. So this is between 77 and 78 years old, and it's in pretty rough shape. There's a piece broken here. I have no idea what it was. My mother doesn't remember. There's a chimney that goes here. I have a bag of parts. I had looked around trying to find a place to restore this for me that does doll houses, and nobody would touch it for whatever reason. I got all kinds of excuses. So I decided I was going to do it myself, but finding the correct wood, or, thin enough to do the fence. You can see here on this side, there's a lot of pickets missing. There's pieces of fence back here missing. This is very delicate. It's also very dusty. I have to clean it first. This, it's not really railroad related, but it is roughly somewhere, if you wanted to scale it, it's roughly between O and G scale somewhere. Whoever made this used small stones or gravel for the grass and the walkway and painted it, and a lot of that's missing here. I have found some. As a matter of fact, some of what I'm using today on my project here is where I got this. I picked this up. You can get these at Family Dollar here in town, has them. I found some in green and some in this kind of beige color. So I'll be using this for the pathways and the green stuff for what he had as grass. And I'll be replacing stones and what I can. I've got porcelain figures in here that need to be cleaned up. Again, this isn't exactly railroad related, but it is very old. It's very delicate. And it's in dire need of restoration. So I'm going to attempt to restore it myself. We have Amarok here decided to come wandering by and say hello. Anyway, let's get started. I will hand this off to my lovely wife, who will put it aside somewhere safe. And now, there are a couple of ways of doing this. There's some people that, I'll move this out of the way for the time being. There's a couple of ways of doing this. I've done it both ways on this. Let me get my, I was watching a video with Jay Leno earlier in his cars, and he called these his grandpa glasses. So let me get my grandpa glasses. There's a couple of ways to do this. One is to, like I said, I found a couple of different ways. They both work equally well that I've found anyway. And one is to put a little white glue on that, get it spread around a bit with a brush. You can also use this. This is 50-50 white glue and water. Okay, this will also work. And then sprinkle this on. Okay. And then you can use some white glue and water over this. I'm going to put it over here. What I found more or less is that the alcohol, see, the white glue doesn't go through there like it should, but the alcohol does tend to make the glue underneath stick. And if my lovely wife would hand me paper towels, which I forgot to bring up because apparently my brain isn't here today. I left a whole roll down there in the engine house. And, thank you, dear. So then we clean the brush. And these white glue, these clean up if you don't let them get hard. They will clean up with water. I want to get that out of there. Our rescue St. Bernard is sitting over here. she's wanting to, I think she wants to go outside, but it's snowing up here. We've got a winter storm going on, so we'll see about getting her outside. So I'm going to do that on this side again. So the other way I found, like I said, was putting the stuff on and this, and then hitting it with, or putting it on and hitting it with alcohol and then the glue. But there's a couple different ways that I found you can do it. And it's supposed to, there we go. I got it to sink in that time. There. So I do it a couple different ways. When I did this one, I spread the glue on here first, put the sand gravel on it, and then hit it with some isopropyl alcohol and let it dry. So there's a couple different ways. Now, we're going to let that set for a minute because it has to dry, or at least get tacky enough so I can do the other side. While we're doing that, I'm going to clean up my workspace. I have a new mat here. Mine has about had it. We bought my wife a new one, and she hasn't been using it, so I stole it. So we're going to set this aside for the time being. I'm going to set this over here to dry. And
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I've been found out. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, I'm not going to do all of these here because this video would be days long. This is a lot of tedious work. I have some balsa wood strips. my son picked up for me at Michael's down near where he's at in Maine. We don't have a Michael's up here, but he had one down there. And he grabbed me some. And I've been cutting them down and using them here and there. And these aren't exactly, they're a little wonky, but when you got them put in place, you don't really notice. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to move this out of the way. We're going to trim this down a little bit. And I do a lot of this by hand because, you know, it's really, you can be as precise as you want on this. Okay. And we want this a little thinner than the outside pieces. That's what I did with the other window over there. It's slightly thinner. It sets back in a ways. So I am going to, I mean, you can set this up any way you really want to. It's your building. If you're building something similar to this, I like to have it set back a bit. There we are. I've got it pretty thin here. And you can buy balsa wood that's already, if you can find it, that's already in strips, and you can trim it down. These are probably 1.5 inch wide sheets that are 1/8 of an inch thick, I think. And that's all my son, that's all they had at Michael's where he went to. So I've been kind of making do with what I've got. So what we do here now is get this out of the way. And I'm gonna take a rough guesstimation here. You can measure it any way you want. Me, I like to get it a little snug. And then I was cutting things with this. I was cutting these and I was messing them up. And I was going through some other stuff and I came across my saw. I forgot where I put it. And so now I've got this to make better cuts some days. And now I need this here. And you can measure the distance between these and get it centered. I'm going to eyeball it. Sometimes my eyeballs are calibrated pretty well. I want a pair of tweezers. And hi, Shop Kitty. Did you come to say hello? A little glue here. A little glue here. And then I'm going to get it started. Oh, look at that. Actually, I think the last time I used the tweezers for putting in the other panes. And there we have it. Now that's got to dry before I can put in the individual pieces that are in the other one. It's got to, let me get over here. Okay, see, before I put these in, this piece has to dry. If you start trying to put them in sooner, everything will just fall apart on you and you'll get frustrated. And this is a hobby to have fun with, not get frustrated on, right? So I'll do one more, and then I need to clean this. And then a little bit later, when things have had time to set up, we'll do some more. And so let me do this. You can hear Shop Kitty, possibly, maybe not. This new microphone seems to be pretty good. We've tested some stuff out. This is really better than the original mic I had. And we're using my wife's tablet to do some of the filming here because it's stable, it's better, and we're also using the phone, and we're trying some new things here. So always trying to improve quality of the video for whoever happens to be watching. And we're trying to set it up so you can actually see. When the video camera was sitting here, a lot of times you couldn't see what I was doing. It was rather difficult. So we're trying to make it a little easier for people to see just what's going on here. And once again, I'll shave this down. And you can get as precise as you want. I kind of eyeball it. If you can find the right size strips that'll do it, fantastic. If you can't, then you make do with what you got. It's not going to be, once the paint's on it and it's weathered, you're not going to notice that much, whether they're ramrod straight or they're a little off. You're not going to notice. It's not going to be a thing. And now I'll take another measurement. And again, I kind of eyeball these. I need to shave this down. The dogs are very interested today. They want to be right here. Usually we throw them outside in the yard for a little while and let them run off their energy, and they come in and go to sleep for the rest of the day. But winter storm outside, we threw them out for a little bit, and they wanted to come right back in the house. So now they are right here. And you can hear Jade. She gets excited. She snorts. She's our rescue St. Bernard. You can see the back end of Shakoba right here. The little one, white tail, white socks. That's Shakoba. By the way, Shakoba is Choctaw for little feather. That's what her name means. The other one is Amarok. He is a mythical black dog that would terrorize the Inuit people. He's not a terror of anything. He's a goofball. And then, of course, we have Jade, who is our rescue. She, unfortunately, was being used as a puppy mill. And here she is right here. Yeah, hi, Jade. She was being used as a puppy mill. Sweetheart, Daddy's doing something right here. When you call her name, she gets excited. She's not the same dog we rescued 8 years ago. She's just not the same dog. Okay, there's number 2. For now, I'm going to call this video good. As soon as everything dries and sets up, which will probably be tomorrow or Monday, I'll film another shot. I'll have a different shirt on, so you'll know it's a different video, but it's going to be all the same. So for now, everything's setting here. You know what's going on. I'll see you in a bit. Well, we're back to finish the windows on this, okay? There's still a lot left to do here. There's painting. There's a loading dock here that will actually wrap around to here to the furnace room. And then there'll be a smaller, like a truck for a truck or a vehicle here, another dock right here. That's coming. Right now, Okay, we're going to concentrate on, you can see I've done the windows. Okay. Now, shop kitty right here. Now, I want to point out here, you can buy these windows, O-scale windows, online, made, 3D printed, I'm sure, resin or whatever. I have looked at them. They're kind of expensive for one window or two windows. You can also, if you want to buy a 3D printer, you can print your own. But again, this is modeling on a budget, and I don't have that kind of money to shell out on a 3D printer right now. So I'm doing this strictly scratch. This is, as I've said before, the cardboard here is smaller boxes. This used to be a milk bone box, okay? And this is all, the windows are all balsa wood. This is what's left. This sheet started as this, almost 3 feet long. And with all of the windows and whatnot I'm doing, this is what I have left. And of that sheet, I have this other one. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to finish this window right here and this window on the video. Okay, we're going to go that way, and I'll show you how I do it. My grandpa glasses. Shop kitty's going to be here as a pain in the butt, and the lovely wife will probably speed some of this up for expediency, or this video between this and the rest of it will end up being an hour long. So we're going to mute this. Now you can see that one is done. Now you can be as precise, you can measure, you can, you know, you can cut, if you can find small balsa strips. You saw me shaving these down a little bit. Um, I cut them as close as what I need and then shave them down some and put them in there. It depends on what you want. Um, I am not a perfectionist. This is an old building. It'll be weathered, it'll be dirty, it'll have flaking and paint and whatnot. So it's going to, the windows will fit. If you saw the window on the furnace room that's going to go on this side of this, then you saw how the window looked there. These will all look similar. Now I'm going to go ahead and finish this one, and that'll be the end. Okay, we're all finished. Now, you can take measurements and be precise. I eyeball stuff. That's just the way I do it. It's close. Again, this is supposed to be an old, weathered, faded building, and I think they look pretty good just the way they are. Okay? But yeah, if you want to get them exact, you can measure and mark and do the whole thing. And before I set them in before the glue dries. You saw I had a trouble with a couple of them that were not quite long enough, and I had the topper ones. I made them just slightly longer to put pressure on the lower ones. Anyway, I'm going to call the windows done. So these are all of the windows. This here, of course, is a man door. I'm going to be building a door for that later. Doesn't have to be installed now. I can put it in when I'm done. This is a freight door. And this side, I was thinking about sliding doors, but there's not enough room here for a sliding door to come out this way. So this is going to be 2 doors opening, and then it'll be similar on this side. Okay. And the reason I did not use balsa wood to frame these was because I wanted them to be as wide as possible, as big as they could be to allow freight in and out. So I used cardboard to do these instead. Now, once they're painted, it's going to blend in fairly well, I'm pretty sure. So anyway, that is it for this video. We're all finished on this. Next will be painting. I may make a couple of tweaks on this here and there, a little bit on the windows, but I think they look pretty good. So next is painting. Once the glue is dry, I'll be giving this a coat of gray primer, and then probably white primer, the same as I did for the furnace building part. And then I'll decide how I want to make it look faded or weathered. Okay, I don't necessarily have to use gray primer. I've already primed the box itself. If I have some brown, I may use brown. Shop Kitty, you cannot get in there. I'll have to see. I'll have to make a decision on that. But that'll be the next video. Also, in the next video, I'll be finishing up the furnace room, the piece off the back. I'm going to be wrapping that with a sloped roof. I didn't like the way it came out, so I'm redoing that. And of course, with this, again, there's still the freight dock. There's foundation here that's going to be the same as what was on the furnace building. And also over this, once the dock is in place, there'll be a roof over this side here. Possibly. I haven't made a final decision on that yet. There may or may not be. I kind of like the idea of a roof over it, and then I kind of like the idea of leaving it open so you can get a better idea there, but we'll see. And then I still have a roof to put on this, and I have not decided yet if it's going to be tar paper or metal roofing. That's yet to be decided. It's a nice thing about scratch building like this. I can make the decisions as I go. That is it for this video, and I hope you enjoyed. And of course, if you like the videos, please hit the like button down there. If you want to see more of these, please subscribe, and then you'll be able to see what I'm doing. There probably will not be a video next weekend because I've got the presentation coming up. Unless we have a major snowstorm that they cancel everything, I'll have that presentation. And then the following weekend, which will be the first weekend of February, that video will be posted, and it'll be between 45 minutes and an hour long, depending on how things go with the presentation. So until then, I hope you all have a great week, great time. Enjoy your modeling if that's what you're doing, if you're starting. And then have a great day. Bye for now.